So we've got some NHL breaking news this morning. The St. Louis Blues have fired their head coach, Drew Bannister, and have hired Jiom Montgomery just 5 days after the Boston Bruins let him go. Montgomery now returning to St. Louis, where he was an assistant coach for 2 years from 2020 to 2022. Montgomery signs a 5-year deal with the 9-12-1 St. Louis Blues, which isn't that bad of a start, very similar to the start that the Boston Bruins had this year. But Montgomery, in his time with Boston, went 120, 41, and 23 in the 2 seasons and a little bit of change that he was the bench boss of the Boston Bruins. But let's talk about Drew Bannister for a second, because he didn't even get a full season in St. Louis. He takes over last year when Craig Berube gets fired. He coached 54 games, and then this season, he's only able to coach 22 games. So you do have to feel for Drew Bannister, who didn't get to coach this team for 1 full season, but you have to respect the hiring and the aggressiveness by the St. Louis Blues, who aren't happy with where they are right now. They go and find Jiom Montgomery, who's familiar with the team, familiar with the organization from being there for a couple of years not too long ago. They found their guy. They didn't wait too long. They hired him. It took 5 days. So let's talk about the Boston Bruins now, because their last 3 coaches get hired in less than 10 days after being fired. Claude Julien, 7 days after being fired, he gets picked up by the Montreal Canadiens. Bruce Cassidy, 8 days after being fired, he gets picked up by the Vegas Golden Knights. So something's got to be said that the Boston Bruins have good coaches, but they haven't been able to find success due to management, due to the players they have in their roster, whatever you want to call it. So it'll be very interesting to see what Jiom Montgomery can do with this St. Louis Blues team. I still don't think they're a playoff team. I feel like most people would agree with that. So if you're Jiom Montgomery, is this the right move? Should he have waited a little bit longer to find a different team to go coach? Or because he has the familiarity already with the St. Louis Blues organization, is this the right move? Will he turn them around? Could they be a playoff team? I don't think so, but you got to root for a guy like Jiom Montgomery, and hopefully he can find some success in St. Louis.